Welcome to the video on the true cost of independence while managing tuition. Today we will carefully examine whether moving into personal housing is realistic when your income is limited and tuition payments continue. We will walk through the harsh math of capital, the instability of hourly income, a controversial but strategic recommendation to delay independence for wealth, and a mitigation strategy if moving is non-negotiable. Along the way, we will use diagrams, a table, and quick quizzes to help you solidify the concepts. Let's begin. Here is our agenda. First, we will cover the harsh math of available capital and why savings that are committed to tuition cannot be spent on moving out. Next, we will examine the instability of hourly income, especially when an internship scales back during study periods. Then, we will discuss the strategic, and sometimes controversial, advice to delay independence to maximize long-term wealth. Afterward, we will present mitigation strategies if moving is non-negotiable, including finding a reliable roommate. We will also provide action steps and tools to make a clear decision. Finally, we will include short quizzes to test your understanding. This is an educational video and not personalized financial advice. Your numbers will vary based on your location, income taxes, actual tuition, housing market, and other personal circumstances. Please build your own budget and verify all assumptions before making decisions. Independence can be empowering, but the feasibility is determined by cash flow, obligations, and risk. As we transition into the numbers, remember that total savings are not equal to available funds when part of that money is already committed to tuition. Our analysis will focus on the minimum income you can reliably earn during your most intensive study periods, not the maximum you might earn at your peak. First, subtract any savings that are already committed to tuition. That money is not available. Second, plan for move-in costs, which often equal approximately 3 times the monthly rent due to deposit, first month, last month, and fees. Third, establish a 6-month emergency fund that covers all essentials, not just rent. Essentials typically include rent, utilities, food, transportation, and other necessary bills. Only proceed if there is still positive leftover cash after covering tuition, move-in costs, and the full emergency fund. Otherwise, the data suggests you should delay and save further. This table illustrates how volatility affects feasibility. With a wage of $22.50 per hour, a 30-hour workweek yields about $2,925 per month in gross pay and approximately $2,486 in take-home if we assume 85%. If tuition is $600 monthly, rent is $600, and essentials excluding rent are around $650, the leftover is about $636. However, during exam months when the internship scales back to 15 hours weekly, take-home drops to roughly $243. In that case, the same tuition, rent, and essentials produce a deficit of about $607, which is unsustainable. If a reliable roommate halves rent to $300, the full schedule left over improves to approximately $936, which is significantly safer. Your actual taxes and expenses will differ, so replace these with your own numbers. Now, consider income stability. Budget based on your minimum projected income, not your best month. Internships often reduce hours during exam periods. Meanwhile, tuition and other fixed bills continue without flexibility. This mismatch can create cash gaps that lead to credit card debt, missed payments, and, in worst cases, broken leases. To stay safe, plan for your lean months first. This pie chart illustrates a sample monthly essentials distribution. It includes rent at $600, utilities at $100, food at $250, transportation at $120, phone and internet at $80, and miscellaneous at $100. To set your emergency fund target, multiply your essentials by 6 months. Always update these numbers with local data, because costs vary significantly by city and by individual circumstances. This timeline will map a 12-month path. Initially, months 0 through 2 focus on assessing tuition commitments and building a zero-based budget. Months 3 through 6 prioritize saving for move-in costs, amounting to about 3 times monthly rent, while continuing tuition payments. Months 7 through 12 complete the 6-month emergency fund that covers all essential living costs. Milestones include finding a reliable roommate, running a credit and background check, and signing a written roommate agreement before any lease. The central guidance is to delay moving until both the move-in cash and the emergency fund are fully funded. Here are your action steps. First, List all committed tuition payments and subtract those from your current savings. Second, compute your move-in cash need as approximately 3 times rent plus any additional fees. Third, determine a 6-month emergency fund that covers all essentials. Fourth, model your worst-case monthly income during study-heavy periods. Fifth, stress test your budget to ensure you can cover tuition, living costs, and savings goals even in lean months. Sixth, if moving is non-negotiable, begin the roommate search and screening process now. Finally, delay moving until the math is positive, even under your worst-case income scenario. Let us compare options. Staying at home provides a massive savings rate, which reduces stress and risk, and accelerates paying tuition and building a large emergency reserve. The trade-off is delayed independence, but the compounding wealth advantage can be substantial. Moving out offers independence and privacy, but requires significant upfront cash and higher fixed monthly costs. It is more vulnerable when income dips, especially during exams, and carries risks of debt or lease issues if cash gaps occur. The controversial advice is to delay independence to build wealth. Living rent-free can create a 5-figure advantage over a few years. Use that advantage to eliminate tuition obligations and save a full year of living expenses. This is a trade of temporary inconvenience for long-term freedom and options. For many students, this is the winning strategy. If moving is non-negotiable, immediately seek a reliable roommate to cut rent and utilities in half. Avoid mixing finances with close friends or romantic partners. Instead, choose someone trustworthy and focused, and use a written roommate agreement with clear responsibilities and separate payments. Screen carefully by checking references, verifying income, and running credit and background checks. Quiz time. The question is, before moving, which cash reserves are most prudent to have fully funded? Option A, first month's rent only. Option B, 3 times monthly rent for move-in costs, plus a 6-month emergency fund covering all essentials. Option C, 2 months of rent and utilities. Option D, a new furniture budget and 1 month of groceries. You may pause the video now to think about the answer. We will discuss the answer in the next section of the video. The correct answer is B. The combination of 3 times monthly rent for move-in costs and a 6-month emergency fund that covers all essentials provides the necessary buffer to handle volatility and unexpected expenses. Here is a concise cheat sheet. Available funds equal total savings minus committed tuition. Move-in cash is approximately 3 times monthly rent plus any fees. The emergency fund should equal 6 times monthly essentials. For a stress test, ensure that worst-case month net income minus tuition, rent, essentials, and savings goals is greater than or equal to 0. If you must move, aim for a roommate that halves rent, keep payments separate, and use a written agreement. This sequence diagram outlines the decision process. First, you calculate the 6-month emergency fund and receive a required cash target from your budget. Next, you contact the landlord to request exact lease terms and deposits. Then, the landlord provides the move-in cost quote. After that, you interview and screen a potential roommate, including a background check. If the candidate passes, sign a written roommate agreement. Finally, you make the decision to move or delay based on the verified numbers. Second quiz. The question is, when modeling income, which assumption keeps your plan safest? Option A, use your highest recent paycheck. Option B, average your last 3 months of income. Option C, use your minimum projected income during heavy study periods. Option D, ignore taxes to be conservative. You may pause the video now to think about the answer. We will discuss the answer in the next section. The correct answer is C. Planning to your minimum projected income during heavy study periods ensures your budget withstands volatility and prevents overcommitment. These are the key takeaways. First, subtract committed tuition from savings before evaluating moving plans. Second, plan for move-in costs and build a 6-month emergency fund based on essentials. Third, budget to your minimum income. Fourth, consider delaying independence to build long-term wealth more effectively. Fifth, if moving is non-negotiable, reduce risk by finding a reliable roommate and using a written agreement. In summary, verify all figures with your local costs and actual taxes. Decide to move only after your worst-case month still works. Use roommates and written agreements to reduce risk. Strongly consider delaying independence to maximize long-term wealth growth and reduce financial stress. Thank you for watching. If this video helped, please like, share, and subscribe. Tell us in the comments where you are in your independence journey and what numbers you are using in your plan. Your insights may help someone else make a safer decision.